Hey everybody, Christy Birchville here. Today we are in our last little section of the book of Ruth. We're in chapter 4, reading verses 16 through 22. As you read through this, verse 17 says, the women living there said, Naomi has a son. And they named him Obed, and he was the father of Jesse, the father of David. As we close out this book, we've been talking about the example of Ruth. It's interesting that the book of Ruth doesn't even really end talking about Ruth. She has a child, and it's called Naomi's son, not Ruth's son. And there's a legacy that's listed there of the lineage and who this son will ultimately become, which is the grandfather of King David, in the line of Jesus himself. It's actually impressive to think about the fact that one of the last pieces that we understand about Ruth is the importance of humility and selflessness. It wasn't about her. Her example was the opportunity to be able to show that God can use, it's all about God. God is working and moving and using her to be able to accomplish his purpose, which was ultimately bringing about that line of David. It wasn't about Ruth. And that, I think, is the key thing as we think about what kind of example does that set for us? We need to be so much less worried about us, about what does this mean for me? How am I going to be better out of this? How does this advance my career or my standing or my stature or my exam? It's not about us. The book of Ruth ends. It doesn't even mention Ruth. We can see in her a woman of humility, a woman of purpose who did exactly what God had her to do. And that was it. How do we need to take that example? What do we need to let go of our ego about? What do we need to let go of the pride that we have sometimes? Or more often than sometimes. I know this is challenging for me to think about this as I looked at this. What are some things that you need to let go of? Remember, it's not about us. It's about God.